Hello friends, my name is Safal Batra. I am Associate Professor of Entrepreneurship and Strategic Management here at IIM Kashipur. If you have recently written your CAT and are now preparing for your IIM and other business school interviews, there are certain things I want to share with you regarding your preparations. To be precise, 5 things that you should be focusing on for these interviews. So without much ado, let's get started. So even before I begin talking about what are those 5 things that you should be focusing on for your interviews, let me spend a moment discussing whether you should be preparing for your interviews at the first place, because at the end of the day there will be those 2 to 3 professors from anywhere across the country and they may end up asking you anything under the sun. So what are the boundaries? Can you really prepare so much for an interview when you don't know the boundaries, right? But no. There's actually a reason why you should be preparing for the interviews. To understand that reason, we need to go into a famous saying, a philosophy that says that fishes are not really evaluated for how far they can fly in the sky. Rather, birds are evaluated for that. And what are fishes evaluated for? For how much they can swim in the ocean. Completely the same philosophy applies to your interviews, all the interviews that you will give in your life, not just the IIM interviews. As a panel member here at IIM Kashipur interviewing MBA aspirants for the past 7 years, I personally do not evaluate a software engineer working in Infosys for his or her knowledge of the stock market. Why would I? Unless the candidate himself or herself says that he or she is currently interested in the stock market and investing in the stock market, I have no reason to evaluate them on that dimension. Similarly, a chartered accountant working as an equity analyst, I have no reason to evaluate him or her on his knowledge or her knowledge about C, C++, Java. So please understand, yes, you need to prepare really hard about yourself as an individual and give your best shot to this opportunity that has come to you. Friends, now that I have convinced you that there is a real reason you must be preparing for these interviews, let's now talk about the 5 things that you should be focusing on during the next couple of months for your interview preparation. Number 1. Mind your words. That's right. You need to prepare about minding your words. What do I even mean by saying mind your words? Please understand that as a panel member, none of us are interested in evaluating you on things that you do not talk about. We are only interested in knowing you regarding the things that you lead us to. I will explain this with not 1 but 2 examples. Example number 1, let's say as a panel member I ask you a question, where do you see yourself after your MBA? What is that you want to do once you are done with your MBA? And now that because you are hearing about startups all the time, newspapers talk about them, and then there is this Shark Tank that you are watching these days, you would be enticed to say that you want to open a startup. But please understand, steer clear of jargons till the time you do not understand them. It is but obvious to expect from the panel to ask you a few questions about startups. I would be interested in knowing your understanding of a startup if you are making that claim that you want to open a startup. And if you don't even know the definition of a startup as per the Startup India portal, and if you do not even have a vague idea of what kind of business you want to start, then it's a very bad idea to talk about startup at the first place. So mind your words. One more example I would like to share with you. Let's say you say that I code in Java language. Fair enough, good for you if you code in Java language, but that's when I am interested to talk about Java with you. That's when I am interested to know if you really know what is object-oriented programming, if you even know what is inheritance and encapsulation at the first place. But if you do not know, stay clear from making claims that you code in Java. As simple. Please always remember, that's not me who started making that statement, who made these claims. That's you who started that claim. I only want to understand your understanding of the claims that you are making. And therefore, lesson number 1, mind your words. Make a note of all the words that you think you are gonna speak in front of the panel and understand those words, research on those words, and make a complete story surrounding the claims that you make. Number 2, dig deep within yourself. That's right, go deeper within your own self. As a participant, we are really not interested in a standard copycat product. Rather, we are interested in an individual who is interesting, who knows something about himself or herself, and who brings uniqueness to the class. And therefore, go back and sit and find out what is that which makes you as an individual exciting enough. What are the things that you have done in life that bring uniqueness to our classroom? And therefore, what are your real reasons to do an MBA, for example, is something you should be thinking about at this point in time. If you just say something very standard like, I want to do an MBA for my holistic development, now that's a very standard copycat type of answer. But if you tell us how an MBA program here or anywhere that you pursue will help you achieve your personalized goals and aspirations in life, then we would be super excited to have you in class. And therefore, at number 2, loud and clear, think about who you are as an individual and what do you bring in the classroom. Some of the things as pointers you could worry about: why do you want to do an MBA? What is the value system that guides your life? What are the things that make you happy? What are the things that really bother you in life? And that's all. Go dig deep in yourself and find the interesting answers out of yourself. So lesson number 2, dig deep within yourself. Folks, at number 3, I want to talk about doing something that you have always wanted to do but have not been able to do for some reason or the other. For example, have you ever wanted to start a YouTube channel for yourself or write a blog but you've not been able to do for some reason? Do that now. Have you wanted to read a book but for some reasons you've not been able to read it? Start that book today itself. Have you wanted to travel somewhere solo, all by yourself or with some friends? This is the time to plan for that travel, keeping in considerations, of course, the COVID protocols. Have you wanted to solve some problem, a small problem, a problem of your friend, a problem that someone close to you faces, a problem that the society faces, but never got the time to think about it? Think about it now, research on it now, find out what could be the plausible solutions to this problem. The point that I'm trying to make here is that do some interesting things and they will enrich your character and you will be able to speak interesting things in the interview, and that's all we want from you. But beware, be cautious, don't do anything just for the sake of doing it. For example, just to claim that you have read a book, don't just read the first few pages and the last few pages of that book. It's a very bad idea, I must tell you. Do something that comes straight from your heart, that you want to do, that you've been wanting to do, and do it with utmost sincerity. And I promise you, it will reflect in your persona, it will reflect in your interview. Okay friends, if you're wondering why did I start reading the newspaper in between, this is exactly my 4th point to all of you, that for your preparations, you need to read newspaper. In fact, to be honest with all of you, in these chilling winters, what is better than having a newspaper in one hand and a cup of coffee in another? There's so much you can learn from newspaper that I personally believe that investing 30 to 45 minutes of your valuable time every single day on newspapers has the potential to transform you completely as an individual. But what is that you should be studying in the newspaper? It's such a big one. What should you be reading in the newspaper? For the first 5 to 7 minutes, skim through the newspaper and see what is that written today that excites you. Is there something in the sports page that fascinated you? Read that article today. Is there something about a political debate or an opinion expressed that captured your attention today? Read that. Is there something about, let's say, a business expansion plan of an electric vehicle company and you want to know more about it? By all means, leave everything else and read this one. The point that I am trying to tell you, my dear friends, is that there is no fixed standard recipe of reading. There is no standard individual that we are looking. We are looking at the unique you, and you will become a unique yourself, and you will bring interesting points to the interview table only if you read the things that you like. You don't have to be obsessed by reading something that others enjoy. Find your own calling. See what is that you enjoy doing. However, I would honestly be slightly concerned if there is nothing in the entire newspaper that does not capture your attention. At that juncture, I would strongly advise you to spend some more time with yourself and explore what is that you enjoy, what is that you enjoy doing and reading, and then start focusing on that aspect. So how do I summarize this point? Don't go by any standard fixations on I have to read all the headlines, I have to read only the first page. No, read whatever you like reading and you will grow as an individual over a period of time. But read. Okay friends, I've already given you a lot of work to prepare. There are so many things we talked about that you can focus on. Now, if time permits and you are done with these 4 and you still want to do more, probably here's a final thing that I would advise you to do. Do a little bit research on the IIM or any other business school from where you got a call. Please understand what that IIM signifies, what it stands out for, what are its special things, what is the life of a student in that particular IIM, and what are the interesting things that this IIM or other business schools are known for. Friends, coming back to my original point number 5, it hurts slightly when the participant doesn't know anything about the business school for which he or she is giving the interview. It's not that the panel will take it very negatively or reject the candidate for that, but think like this: if you are able to demonstrate that understanding of that business school and the professor actually takes you there, then you certainly get a few brownie points. So friends, what do you need to prepare? First, mind your words, prepare whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want the panel members to discuss with you on that day. Point number 2, dig deeper within your heart and try to figure out what you stand for, what makes you a unique individual. Point number 3, do something that you've never done before. This is your time, this is your opportunity. Explore and become a better person. Point number 4, read newspaper, even if for a small time every single day. Don't be obsessed with reading the highlights or the headlines, but read whatever you like reading. And finally, if you get time, research a little bit on IIMs and other business schools. So friends, so much for the preparation. These are some of the indicative directions in which you may prepare, but always keep in mind that D-Day, when you appear for your interview, it may go in a direction different from how you anticipated, different from the points that we just discussed, and different from how you were planning your interview to go. In such a situation, do keep your calm, do keep your presence of mind, keep smiling, and you will be fine. And so friends, my heartiest best wishes to all of you for your preparations and interviews, and I'll see you in the next video.